Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel for another Sundance 2021 interview. I'm very excited about this one because I'm mighty obsessed with the Screenlife format, and I've got director Carey Williams here. Carey, congratulations. The reason I didn't say the title of your movie is because that's my first question, because I was saying it differently before and after watching your post-screening Q&A. So what is the title of your film?
Romeo and Juliet.
Okay. I do like asking in general about coming up with a title for a film because that's a very important part of it. So maybe what was the working title and how did you decide to ultimately structure it as R, hashtag J, which we are out loud saying Romeo and Juliet instead?
Right. Well, it came to me as R hashtag J. When I came into the project, they already had that. But during the course of the development of it, it was kind of like, that doesn't really work for social media. It's got to be hashtag RJ. R hashtag J is kind of like, so hey, let's call it Romeo and Juliet, but just have that. And I think it kind of has like a little bit of an iconic feel of just the R hashtag J. It speaks to the style of the movie and what it is. But Romeo and Juliet, most people will immediately know what that is.
Just spotted your dog in the background, and I'm a big animal lover.
Yeah. Yeah, I got two little ones that run around. They like to come and make an appearance whenever I'm doing this.
You got the advance warning. My cat, Deputy Dewey, is going to be in this frame at some point.
Yeah.
So when exactly did you get involved in the development of the story? Because I know there are two other people, I believe, credited on the screenplay here.
Yeah. So, Baslov's and Interface Films approached me a couple of years ago after my short was at Sundance, my short Emergency, and they had a script for this story, and they told me they wanted to do a Romeo and Juliet in Screenlife format, and I was like, okay, interesting. I had no idea how to do a Screenlife film. But I'd seen a Screenlife film. And I thought it worked, it was searching, and it really, drew me in. I thought it was really great. So I thought to myself, I'm like, okay, this could be a great opportunity to not only sort of push, my own, filmmaking boundaries, but also a great opportunity to put people of color in like this iconic story, So I was like, yeah. I think this would be a great movie to make. I think the world needs something like this now. And we'll be doing something that really gives Romeo and Juliet, I think, like a reason for another form or another like version of it,
So I know Timur was also involved in this. So was there any opportunity to connect with some of the other directors he'd made Screenlife movies with to, I don't know, get some pointers, tips and tricks?
Yeah. Timur is the OG. Like he created this format. So I did speak to the director of Searching, Anish, and he gave me some pointers, some good thoughts, and I was really thankful to him for that, because I was like, first of all, how do you write a script in this format, and how do you what are some of the ways to shoot it, editing process, and he was really gracious enough to give me some time to talk it through. I think that's really important to, be able to communicate with other filmmakers about some things, just to bounce feedback off, and stuff like that.
Thinking about Anish's journey too, it makes me want to ask you this. Having had the experience making a Screenlife movie as your first feature, is there anything that you experience working in that format that you think is going to benefit you on your next films, whether or not they're Screenlife movies?
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. First of all, every time you do a project, you better learn something and take that shit to the next thing. just hands down, no matter what it is. Also, it could be something not to do again, but you're going to learn something. But I think that for me with this project, it was trusting my gut a lot, and trusting, because it's all choices, you're always making choices all the time as a director, and you can second guess, third guess, but trusting it, and it reinforced what I kind of knew before with in the edit, you can really reshape things, you know, and rewrite the film. As we did a lot of that in this project. But the great thing about Screenlife is that it gives you so much more flexibility to rewrite the film in the post side of it. So that was something I think I really did, because I was already outside of my comfort zone. And I was like, well, let's go for it. Let's go for it. Let's go, you know, and that reinforcing trusting my gut was a good takeaway.
Do you think that you could have directed this without having had editing experience yourself?
You know, yes, I do, because I had an amazing editor in Lam T. Nguyen. We previs the film completely beforehand, and this guy was just like amazing with like his, first of all, his storytelling ability, but also his just work ethic. So I think so, but it did help me having my editor. I think having an edit background for any filmmaker is very key. Just knowing what you need to get in, you know, when you're shooting. But one thing about this is that you're not doing all the, you know, shot, reverse shot and getting all this coverage in Screenlife. You're doing, it's in the phase and is this, so it's like that part of it, okay, do we need this shot for the edit as much, goes away a lot in Screenlife. So yeah, I think so.
Most people who are watching this interview, they haven't seen your movie yet. So what is maybe a light non-spoiler example of something that you envisioned one way through the writing and production process and completely became something else in the edit?
Oh, gosh. Everything? You know, I mean, honestly, I have to say that making this film, and when I say making it, editing it during a year of a pandemic and during such a tumultuous year really, really informed what this ended up being. I think there was so much awful stuff happening in the world, and you can't shut that out when you're making something. It gets into your bones. And there were some days when I was like, I have to not work today. I have to just, you know, step away. But anyway, I think it sort of propelled me to look for more love in the story, to find more moments that will make you feel good or make you care about our main characters. So that influence, you know, was one thing. And also just adding more commentary about what, you know, social commentary to the film based on what's happening in the world. So I think everything really got tweaked in a way. And you couldn't see the script of this and then watch the movie and go, oh, those are the same movies, other than, no, the characters are the same, but so much changed. Yeah.
How does shooting a movie Screenlife style change your approach to working on set as an actor's director?
I asked them a lot, are you okay? Is that good? You know, like I really checked in a lot, like, because I think all of us were doing something we hadn't done before, right? You know, the actors were literally just right to camera, you know, doing their thing and not having someone to play off of in a scene. And I think that's really, really important for an actor to have someone to play off of. And not having that, I wanted to make sure they were cool, you know, like, how are you feeling about that take? Was it, you know, do you feel like you were connected? Was it good? And, you know, usually they took to it really quickly, which was amazing. You know, kudos to them.
Just for fun, because I might have been a kid who did something like this in high school. What would you think if someone sought out your movie rather than reading the text to get through class? I am not telling anybody to go do that, but I might have been one to seek out movies before I actually did the real work.
I would be ecstatic. I would love that. That would be amazing. I mean, I think they'd enjoy it more. You know, I mean, look, I like to watch movies than read, you know, so, you know, I think that would be amazing. You know, hopefully it does become like the new generations, you know, like Romeo and Juliet, like Baz Luhrmann's did, you know, previously. And, you know, yeah, they may go back and read the original thing and go, wait, this, but I like that movie more.
I was definitely, if you couldn't tell, more of a movie watcher than a reader growing up.
Yeah.
One thing I really did want to ask you about is your choice to stick with the Shakespearean dialogue, because that's a very bold choice. And it was making me wonder, did anyone along the way try to steer you in another direction to have, that kind of dialogue paired with a modern storytelling style when we have so many other Shakespeare adaptations that do away with that part and simply just set their story in modern day?
Sure. Yeah, there was a little bit of question about it. And the question was more so like, well, should we just keep it consistent? If they're going to speak Shakespearean language, should we have the texting be the same or vice versa? But I thought, I wanted to hear that language come out of our characters' mouths. I wanted that. And also wanted to, respect the original text, let's speak it. And I thought these actors would be able to handle it and do a great job with it. And also, on top of that, this movie felt like, to me, like a mashup. You know what I mean? Like, everything was like, with the music and the style and the the language. So I thought, yeah, let's put those two together. Hopefully it's not going to be jarring, and have this sort of mashup idea from top to bottom in this film.
If you could apply the same type of filmmaking to any other piece of Shakespeare's work, what would it be and why?
Someone recently said something about Othello. But I don't know that story that much. I was, to be honest, I was never like a big Shakespeare person. So I don't have that like in my memory bank to go,
I mean, I kind of like that approach to adapting his work, though, because if you're not a fan and you're putting your spin on it, it probably then makes it more accessible to somebody else who might be feeling that way.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I wasn't a fan. I wasn't like a big, big into it. But I also feel like that probably opened me up to a lot of the changes I made, in the story and in things, because I wasn't like holding on to it so closely and giving it, trying to give it like a different spin.
Coming up with that question with a colleague of mine, the first thing that came to mind, though, was you putting your spin on Taming of the Shrew. This might just be because of 10 Things I Hate About You, but something about that story feels like it would well suit the modern version of social media use versus the public version of that versus what goes on in DMs. There's something there.
Okay.
I'm convinced there is.
If Baz loves an interface or listening, maybe that might be the next thing.
Speaking of the next thing, I don't know what you could say about whatever you're working on next, but just so people get hyped to continue to follow your work from here, what is cooking right now? Is it something else in the Screenlife zone or something completely different?
Something different. I'm in pre-production on the feature version of my short Emergency. That was at Sundance a couple of years ago. So I'm super excited about that, to expand that world and live with those characters more.
Is there any new tool in your toolkit that you feel yourself applying to that came from your experience making Romeo and Juliet?
As of now, no. I'm just happy to have the freedom to do reverse shot again and have an objective POV, because Romeo and Juliet was all subjective, and that was interesting to play in that box a little bit, and also push me to figure out how to get out of that box. But I'm ready to go back out. Put the camera here, so yeah.
Very, very, very fair. Big congratulations on Romeo and Juliet. I can't wait to see what else you deliver from here.
Thank you.
I hope you are having a wonderful time at Sundance.
Thank you so much.